Oh my gosh.
Okay, but
sorry about that.
But
All right. All right.
but
Thanks.
you're not.
I'm not yet. Okay. I'm not yet.
Oh wait, I see a little inset.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, now you're live.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. A little bit of technical difficulty. Let me know who's here, and I'll give a shout out. In the meantime, I just wanted to say a couple of things. Uh, thank you for joining. And oh my gosh, it's been such a rainy day, right? So why not craft? And then if you're actually a patron, I wanted to let you know that we miss you. I would normally be at the library on a Wednesday night from 5 to 8. A lot of people may know that I'm there, and we actually have some crafty things on a Wednesday night too. In the meantime, if you're somebody new and you just found out that we were going to be doing this live video, thank you for joining, and let's get started. I know that the meeting was titled as Let's Take Heart Hunters to the Next Level. And I want to help you do that, but it's really just about having a lot of ideas, not just about having a lot of craftiness or supplies or whatever. It's really just getting motivated and taking the time. And of course, during this quarantine, we have time. We have also, like with these rainy days, time to be inside. And I just want to show you that there's a lot of options. So let's take a look at a few of the first things that um, what we'll be making today. And one of the things that we'll be making and that I've learned over the last few weeks is how to make like a heart mobile and make the hearts 3D. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, not only can you learn through this today, but you can also search for it all through, Pinterest or on Google. It doesn't matter if it's me that tells you how. I know that I'm particularly a learner that's like I gotta see it to be able to do it, so that this type of thing helps out. But in the meantime, there's lots of people that have ideas on how to take it to the next level. So the more, the merrier. So I'll show you what I completed over the last couple of days. And I have to let you know that if it wasn't for doing this Facebook Live, I really wasn't finding the motivation. I love all of the hearts that I've seen in the windows. But when I signed up to do this video today, I talked to Matt at the library and we got together and we decorated all of the windows at the library. So if you have a chance to go to go through the drive through at the library, you'll see that we put up a whole bunch of hearts. And the main reason we did so is because we really miss all of you guys. We do. We miss being there. We miss being able to have the classes that we have. We just miss a lot of it like you guys do. So that's why we're doing these virtual meetings in hopes that it'll keep us connected and that maybe once we can start having people come in, you'll just feel that much more comfortable. So let me show you the couple of heart things that I've made over the last couple of days. It actually is very simple. There's lots of options that I want to show you to make a rainbow heart 3D type thing that even if you don't have construction paper or whatever to do this, I can guarantee you still have materials at home to be able to do this. So I've made a couple of these, and like I said, it got me motivated. And by the end of this, I'm going to have my window at my home decorated. How about you? Let me know if you're interested, and let me know if there's anything in particular that you want to learn, and I'll follow up on it. But I'm going to show you how you can have homemade materials before I show you how to make the heart mobile with 3D hearts. So one of the things you can do is, of course, because I work at a library, actually I work at 2 different libraries, and I've always loved books. But as we know, there's lots and lots and lots of old books. So if there's books that are no longer going to be checked out or used or whatever in your home, you've already read them and nobody else wants them, you can actually take those books and use a book page to actually make some of the things that you want to make. And I've done this before with a few things at one of the, I work at one of the schools in town. And at first, when we started making stuff crafty like out of book pages, the kids were like, oh my gosh, what do you mean you took this out of a book or tore it out of a book? Well, if it's outdated material and it's going to go to the recycle bin, why not reuse it before we do that? So it's not exactly a bad thing. It's reuse, repurpose, before you recycle. So I'll show you how to do that really quickly. One of the things that, even though it's a book page and you want to put in the window like a rainbow set of hearts, you can do several things. You can take a colored pencil, or you can take crayons. I don't have any young children anymore, so I looked all over for some crayons, and I don't have crayons, but I have color pencils, and I have markers and highlighters, whatever you can find. That's the whole point. And you just start coloring over the book page and keep coloring it in. And the other thing what you want to do, because it's a mobile, you want to, in 3D, you want to color the other side of it. So you just start coloring. And the one thing that you notice when you're doing crafty stuff is it makes you feel better. And you just take time and you just color in the lines and you just keep coloring. And then you're ready to cut this out. I've colored on both sides. So I'm gonna draw a heart, and I'll tell you one thing. I cannot draw anything freehand. My older son, he's an artist, like my grandmother, and he can draw just about anything, just looking at it, and then he can draw. I have to have something to follow. I can match up colors. I can see how things go together. But I know what my limitations are. And so I just find ways to do it. So this is a cookie cutter. It's nothing fancy, even though there's many other things I can use to cut this out or draw this. Cookie cutter is what everybody has. Maybe even if it's not a heart, maybe if it's a star, you could put stars in the window. So I'm just going to draw this. So I don't know if you can see the outline. And now, of course, I can just cut that out and it becomes a heart that I can use for my mobile and hang in the window. So, while a few minutes ago it was just a book page, now it's a heart and it's colored in. So it can be part of your rainbow. I think I have to. There we go. And then another thing you could do with those book pages, if you don't have crayons or markers or color pencils, like I said, I don't have crayons anymore because I don't have little kids, but lots of people have food coloring and it does really, really well. The only thing you have to do is let it dry when you do food coloring. So I just put a few drops of food coloring in here. Dab my brush in a little bit of water right here. And then I want to make this one a blue heart. So I'm going to color it in blue. And like I said earlier, mainly because we're going to make these 3D hearts, we're going to do both sides. Otherwise, you could just do one side. But when you do both sides, I'm just doing both sides. I'm just coloring. So now I have a blue book page. And we definitely want to let this dry just a little bit before we stencil out the heart and cut it out. So just set off to the side, let it dry for a little bit. This is one I did in yellow with food coloring. And of course, that would just make a really good heart on the mobile if I did it with food coloring and book page. And aside from book pages, just with text and a white background, if you have magazines, or I found some encyclopedia pages that were all colored. Actually, I'm so excited because the one encyclopedia that I found, who would have thought? It's a rainbow. So I can actually do a whole rainbow set of hearts just from the encyclopedia pages. And then I'll show you how we're going to do the mobile. And then in this case, it takes tape and some glue. If you don't have, and then tape, glue, and string. If you don't have string, you can use yarn, you can use thread, or if you don't have any one of those things, you could also use staples. I'm going to use string instead of yarn or thread. I'm going to use tape. I'm going to show you how I make the 3D hearts. If you look up 3D hearts, there are some that say you need a whole lot more, like instead of just 2 hearts, you need 4 hearts. And of course, that makes it even more predominantly 3D. But the ones that I've made that have just 2 pieces, you take the already cut out heart, and there's you can, like I said, use the cookie cutter to do a stencil, because I don't draw freehand. I've done everything with the stencil. And then you just fold them in half. You take the other one, you fold it in half. And then once you fold both of them in half, just to have the line in the middle. You can take a glue stick, and then I don't know if everybody remembers. I do remember that when I was younger, we made paste, and it's just a little bit of flour and water. So if you don't have glue sticks around, you still don't have an excuse. You could use flour and water. But I'm just going to spread around the glue. And then I'm going to take the second heart. I'm going to glue it to the part that I put some glue on. Line them up. And just make sure that they stick together. And then this is a 3D heart for our windows. And I think once we take this 3D heart and turn it into a mobile with the string on it, it will actually step up our game for heart hunters. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I want to get a whole bunch of these in my window, and then I'll take a picture and I'll post it on Heart Hunters, and then we'll just go from there. At the top of each one of the mobiles that I have, there's clouds, because with every rainbow, there's usually clouds in the picture. So it looks really nice at the top, and these can be 3D as well. So we'll just fold this one in half and fold the next one in half. And then all you have to do is line the two up, because they'll be exactly the same shape. Use the glue stick. Use the glue stick. Use double-sided tape. Use the flour and paste. And then we have a cloud. So, to make a mobile, I've initially cut out string, and this is the way that after many trials and maybe some errors, I decided to cut out like 12-inch string and put them on each individual item. So first the cloud, and then the hearts, and then we'll tie them together using some knots and tape. If I really wanted these to be permanent decorations, I might use a glue gun instead of tape. But with this kind of paper, the tape doesn't show at all, and it definitely will hang in your window just as beautifully as the ones that I have behind me. So I take the string and I just put it inside one of the folds on the cloud, and I tape it at the top so that you have a top part of the string, and then I tape it at the bottom so that it stays in place when you hook up the next item. And then this is the next heart, because I'm going to go purple, green, blue, yellow. So purple is the first color, and I've already glued these together. So I'll take the next string and I will place it in the middle. I don't know if you can see this on my board. I just put it right here in the middle, and I'm going to tape the top, and then I'm going to tape the bottom, and that way it'll stay in place once we tie them together. Top piece, bottom piece. And then I'm going to show you tying them together. So there's no exact science to this. It's just a matter of making a little bit of a knot. And I know for a lot of people, like tying things together and trying to make a bow is difficult, but making a knot, and all we have to do is cut off the excess. I measured the strings to be 12 inches so that I would have so much room between each piece. Sometimes it's not exact. Even the two that I have in my window, they're close, but they're not exact. And actually that actually adds to the display. So once I've tied them off, I take the string and cut off the excess. One thing to know is once you cut off the excess, you don't want to pull on it too hard, because once that is cut off by the knot, it could come loose. How do I know that? Because I've done it. And when I've done it and I pull too hard, it's come apart and I've had to retie it. So these are the two pieces. Here's the cloud. In my strings, I'm going to do purple, green, blue, yellow, orange, and then red. And that's what I showed you earlier. These are the strings that I've done before. And those are the order of the colors that I've done based on what I think is the rainbow colors. And what I find out is, did anybody see the rainbow last night? I didn't see it. It was on the north side of Sandwich. Somebody took an amazing picture of the rainbow from end to end. It was gorgeous. And they actually submitted the picture and it showed up on ABC News. So I was pretty proud of Sandwich and the photographer. So in the meantime, if you have any other questions or you want to know exactly how to finish this, all you have to do is post it and I will definitely send a response. I hope you enjoyed our crafting tonight. Like I said, it's ideas, and everything has a starting point. And once you have an idea, you can go from there. You can look at Pinterest, you can just Google it, and then take it to the next level. I have some other ideas to follow up with, so we've scheduled a part 2, and I hope you enjoyed this particular live meeting, and I hope if you watch it again and again, you'll learn something from it. I'm hoping that everybody figures out during this shelter in place or quarantine that it's really relaxing and you can take your time out to do some crafting and do it with the family or whoever. The big thing is we all have materials at home that can be, it's called upcycled. Like I showed you before, the book pages, you could take cereal boxes or whatever and turn it into something that's art or crafty. Again, let me know your comments or questions and I'll follow up. And I hope you have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon.